UFC Vegas 119 is taking place in the Apex. We missed it so much. We were afraid it was going to go away. After a White House card, we are back in the Apex. Let's get right into the predictions. Shane Collins versus Otari Tanzilovi. I'm going to speed through a couple of these fights because there's a lot of people that probably don't even know who these fighters are. But anyway, this fight, fresh blood. Tanzilovi was on the Dana White Contender Series. Shane Collins, I believe, was in a Uriah Faber promotion. I think it's called A1. And he was getting hyped up, man. I think the UFC sees a prospect here. Tanzilovi dances around on the outside and is a bit of a cage pusher. He had a great fight with a guy from the Congo called Musasa. Dana White ended up choosing Musasa over Tanzilovi. But yeah, man, I don't think Tanzilovi, he was hitting Musasa with a lot of shots. I don't see him having anything for Shane Collins. Shane Collins stands straight up, hips back, and I don't think he's going to be afraid of any takedowns, and he's got power. This is also at featherweight, and I believe Tanzilovi is coming up a weight class. Shane Collins is probably going to knock him out. Early round 2, I think with the Apex cage being smaller, Tanzilovi's not going to be able to run around forever, and Shane Collins is going to catch him, man. He's got great boxing. He's got great striking in general. And I think he's going to catch him with his power. So on to the next fight here. We got Karol Rosa versus Luana Santos. I got Luana Santos. Women's fights are always hard to predict. Karol Rosa is very aggressive, if you know what I mean. Very, very aggressive. Luana Santos is a pretty little girl. But has amazing grappling, and she's, I believe, on a 4-1. She's on a bit of a win streak, and every time I kind of count her out, she ends up doing well. So she had a TKO against Juliana Miller, the Killer Miller, rear naked choke against Agapova, and she got a nice Americana, which was a very awkward Americana, the position that she was in, on Tania Lisboa, who's a pretty physical fighter herself. So I think Luana Santos is going to win this fight. I do have it going to decision, unfortunately, but what are you going to do? Yeah, I think Santos gets it done. Shahbazyan versus Chokheli. So Shahbazyan is the brother of Edmund Shahbazyan, and what's crazy about this fight is that Shahbazyan, Leon Shahbazyan, is built like a middleweight, and he is at welterweight. He is massive for this division, and apparently his whole game, from what I've seen, is predicated on the fact that he can get people out in round 1. So what I see happening here, Chokheli is a stocky guy. He's able to knock out. He's a knockout artist. He's a knockout specialist. He gets people out in the first round, maybe even the second. And what I see happening here is just a classic gas tank fail from Shahbazyan. I don't know how he made this weight. He is literally that massive. I think Chokheli kind of weathers the storm in the first 2.5 minutes. And we're going to see Shahbazyan fade so quickly and get knocked out. TKO, maybe even a clean knockout. But Shahbazyan's not going to have anything for him outside the first 2.5 minutes. If his gas tank holds up through a round, I would be surprised. Chokheli, I think, has a lot more experience, like better competition. Shahbazyan's coming from a regional scene, and I don't know, man. I just don't think he's been tested at all. I got Chokheli on almost all the head-to-head categories here. So, like I said, late round 1 KO for Chokheli. Shahbazyan just completely gasses. I don't think his submission game is going to be all that good. Or good enough to get Chokheli. So, on to the next fight. This is going to be a banger of a fight, I believe, because Aswell Jr. just goes for it. He is a nasty boxer who is aggressive as hell, and he just wants banger fights. He wants to be aggressive. He wants to be in your face. Michael Aswell Jr., I think, again, has all the head-to-head categories for the most part. Bolanos is a good kickboxer. He's got a bit of speed. He's a bit more of a counter puncher, and he can hit you with some power shots for sure. Aswell, because he comes forward so much, does get hit a lot, but his chin is granite. I don't see him getting hurt. In in this fight. I just don't. Bolanos seems like he's just not going to be anything in the UFC. He's not going to have, many more wins. And Aswell Jr. just goes for it, man. So I got late round 2 KO here. Bolanos also fades. Aswell Jr. just does not, even with all the activity he does. He's a natural featherweight, frame-wise. And like I said, man, I mean, he has almost 8 strikes a minute. And he's just it's double the amount as Bolanos. So Aswell Jr., late round 2 KO. And we go on to the next. I told you guys I'm going fast here. Allan Nascimento versus Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo was a guy who the UFC seemed like they were trying to promote. I saw he was at New England Cartel. I could have sworn that he was in New York at one point, training with Aljamain Sterling and Marab. I might be wrong on that, but New England Cartel guys are great at takedown defense, and maybe boxing. We look at Rob Font, we look at Calvin Kattar. Mitch Raposo fights completely different than that. He's looking for wrestling. He has 1 strike a minute. He's just trying to set up the takedowns. Allan Nascimento, again, huge for flyweight. I don't know how he makes it. He has had trouble in the past, but he said he had he was sick or something, and that was why he didn't make the weight the one time. But ever since, I think that was back in 2023, and ever since then, he has been good with the weight. He's a dangerous finisher. His jiu-jitsu is second to none. And that's why I think Raposo's not going to have anything for him, man. He has not impressed, I don't think, anybody. Fans, UFC, he's just kind of bland, man. He just looks for control. There's no finishing ability from him. And, he does change stances a lot, and he's in and out. I just don't think Allan Nascimento is going to have any problem with him. He's long, he's rangy. I see a lot of teep kicks happening to Mitch Raposo. And if it goes to the ground, man, Allan Nascimento is fine there. He's probably going to submit him. That's what I have, at least. Early round 2 submission. And, I think he'll deal well with Mitch's wrestling. He's got the huge frame. He's just overall a better fighter. It's simple. We move on. This is a lock of the card. You see all the head-to-head categories for Bia Mesquita. Don't even think about it. She's better at striking. She can actually strike for a women's fighter. She is aggressive as hell. She gets on the ground. Her ground game is amazing. She submits people. She beats the crap out of them on the ground. Don't think anything of it. Melissa Mullins will have nothing for her. And Bia Mesquita, too good everywhere. And she's pretty, so the UFC loves her. We move on. Another one. Don't even think about it. Andre Lima versus Kevin Borjas. Kevin Borjas is unprofessional. He misses weight constantly. He just missed weight again for this fight. I think he was 3 pounds over. And I think it's because he knows he needs every advantage, man. When he faces anybody that's slightly technical, it's over. Now, he did just come off a nasty KO loss from Emmanuel Rodriguez, who's a legit prospect. Daniel Cormier loves him. His wrestling's good, and his striking's good. So you can't really fault Kevin Borjas for losing to somebody like that. But anybody that's technical, he loses to. Andre Lima is technical. Again, dude, I think it goes to a decision. Kevin Borjas gets crazy at times. He just is all over the place with his striking. He does not look like a UFC fighter. I think he's like 1-3, 1-4 in the last 5 fights. His time in the UFC is coming to an end. Andre Lima is a lock for me. Don't even think about it. Like I said, I think he wins by unanimous decision. We move on. Vinicius Oliveira versus Andre Fili. Kind of a banger. This is a good fight to see. A lot of featherweights on this match, or in this Vegas card at the Apex. But Vinicius Oliveira is a bantamweight who was doing quite well. He was even talking a little bit of shit. I think he called out Marab, if I'm remembering correctly. He was talking a lot, and then Mario Bautista got him in a rear naked choke. So Mario Bautista is obviously very good. He's a good bantamweight. Vinicius Oliveira is now moving up to featherweight, and he's facing Andre Fili. Andre Fili has great striking. He's quick. And he gave Jose Delgado a run for his money, man. He really did. Jose Delgado was struggling in that fight against Fili. They were on the ground. They were standing up. Fili actually called him in the first round. I think with a right hook that had Delgado go to the ground. So Andre Fili, we all know. I think he's been in the UFC. Yeah, I have it down here. 2013. He's a vet. Everybody knows Andre Fili. You know, he's one of those fan favorites. You know, it's nothing, you know, nobody really thinks of him that much, but once you hear his name, you know who he is. So he's good, man, but Vinicius Oliveira is a different animal. Different animal with athleticism. His striking's faster. His striking's more powerful. He's just a nasty athlete. We all know him from the flying knee, which was a hell of a fight against Bernardo Sopai. And, I kind of see the same thing happening here, man. Andre Fili seems to lose to guys who have a lot of potential. Costa being one of them, Melaquizil Costa. I can't pronounce these names sometimes. But Andre Fili seems to lose to guys like that. And I think Vinicius Oliveira is going to be one of those guys, especially at featherweight, because now he's not cutting that weight to bantamweight. I think he's only going to be more stronger. His speed should be fine. I can't see it being drastically different. And yeah, I got late round 1 KO for Vinicius Oliveira, man. I really think Andre Fili might have a nasty knockout. And Vinicius Oliveira has a highlight reel KO here. Unfortunately, I love Fili, but yeah, I think Oliveira is just different, man. So Fili's been in a lot of wars too, and Vinicius Oliveira, dude, again, he's just nasty. He can hit you with anything, and he's definitely looking for the finish, so I'm definitely going to go with him. We move on. Magomedov versus, what's his name? Melsik Baghdasaryan. Murtazali Magomedov is going to win this fight. I'm very confident in it. Early round 2 KO. Baghdasaryan just doesn't have anything, man. The UFC wants him gone, I think, too. He is not active at all. He just fought Gene Silva not too long ago, but it was his first fight since 2023. Yes. And might be a little bit later than that, but Gene Silva beat his ass, hit him with a nasty straight to a right hook, and drop Baghdasaryan easily. He's not active enough, man. He's not active enough at all. Magomedov's coming off the Dana White Contender Series, coming off a nasty knockout. He's a master of sport in grappling, so people are going to be scared of his takedowns. They're going to be scared of his grappling. It automatically opens up the striking for him, and he can strike. You know, it's nothing elite, but he is a good striker, and I think he's going to easily get this one done. Early round 2 KO for him. Baghdasaryan kind of taps at him, and for the first round, Magomedov maybe gets a takedown, and you know, Baghdasaryan gets to the second round off a miracle, and then bang, KO from Magomedov. So that's what I think is going to happen. Just better all-around fighter, I think. Baghdasaryan is just kind of a kickboxer, can't do much else. So, again, we move on. Hyder Amil versus, Christian Rodriguez. C-Rod. How could I forget Christian Rodriguez? One of those fighters for me that I can never predict if he's going to win or not. And this is another fight, man, that it's 50-50 in my eyes. Christian Rodriguez is a really good all-around fighter. He's just not elite at everything. He's a jack of all trades, but he's not an expert at anything. But what he's really good at is dragging you into the deeper rounds and then taking over from there. Not a prolific finisher or anything, but I think his cardio is going to hold up here. I think his defense, he's very defensive with his guard. He doesn't get hit that much. I think Hyder Amil is kind of made for Christian Rodriguez to take into the later rounds. Hyder Amil is a little ball of energy. I did not know this. He's 36, which is crazy to me. I thought he was younger, but he did just kind of come on to the UFC scene. But yeah, Christian Rodriguez, 12 years younger. I think that's only going to play into the gas tank. Only going to play in to taking Hyder Amil to the later rounds. And he's been good, man. He's just always he's been decent. So I think Hyder Amil is going to do what he does as the Hurricane. That's what he calls himself. He's going to come out. He's going to throw a lot of shots, and Christian Rodriguez is immediately going to neutralize him. Melquizil Costa fought Christian Rodriguez, and Christian Rodriguez did quite well against him. And Costa's a really good fighter. But he was immediately on the front foot and trying to put Costa on the back foot, put him up against the cage, and just neutralize that explosiveness. I kind of see the same thing happening here with Hyder Amil. And I think if C-Rod gets Hyder Amil down, it's either the fight's going to end or his gas tank's just going to keep going, and Hyder Amil's not going to have anything for him in the late second round and third round. So I think Rodriguez is going to get it unanimously, maybe a split decision, but I'm like fairly confident that C-Rod's going to beat him. Hyder Amil I feel like he's just missing something, man. I don't know what it is exactly, but he's a great fighter to watch because he really does just go for it. Yeah, man. So on we go to the co-main event. Cutelaba versus Navajo Sterling. Now, Navajo Sterling is a lanky kickboxer, good striking, very methodical, and it's because he's from City Kickboxing. We all know Israel Adesanya. We all know Carlos Alberg. And though Carlos Alberg is finally having some exciting fights, we know what Adesanya has done. Adesanya has had a lot of decisions and kind of taps away. Navajo Sterling, the UFC is trying to promote a lot. They think he's promotable. He's had a couple boring fights where he just kind of picks away at people. He's undefeated. He's a great striker, and he's big. But he just hasn't had that like highlight reel moment for people to really know who he is and for him to come into the spotlight. But I think the UFC knows what they're doing in this card. They're giving him Cutelaba, who's going to come forward. He has a kill or be killed mentality. He's always in crazy fights. There was the rematch with Ankalaev. He thought it was an early stoppage. Of course, he gets KO'd easily against Ankalaev the next fight. Kutalaba's just all over the place, man. You never know what to expect from him either. He's explosive. He tries to grapple as much as possible. He really likes using judo throws. But I don't see it on Navajo Sterling, man. He's got 3 inches of height on him, 4-inch reach. I don't see Cutelaba getting to him. And if he does, I don't think Navajo's going to have any issues dealing with him. Cutelaba just came off a win against Umar Sy, who was a pretty decent French prospect. Kind of crazy that he won. I think they were kind of hoping that Umar Sy won, but Cutelaba pulled it off. I don't see it here. I just don't. Navajo Sterling's striking is that good, and I don't think he has any problem with the takedown. Like I said, kill or be killed mentality from Cutelaba. I think Navajo stings him, and I think it's going to be early round 3. I think there's going to be a little bit of a stall. I think maybe the first 2 rounds are kind of boring in this fight, where Navajo's picking it up, striking. He's pacing his shots and just kind of wearing Cutelaba out more and more. And then early round 3, I think he catches him. So, yeah, I think Navajo Sterling's pretty good. I got a 75% confidence level on that. And, yeah, man, striking is going to beat the grappler here, I think. Now to the fight that we all want to see, I hope. Flyweights, Manel Kape, Kyoji Horiguchi. This is going to be a great fight. They fought back in Rizin, the Rizin promotion back in 2017. Horiguchi was pretty much in his prime back then, and he choked out Kape. I did not see it happening this time. Horiguchi I think he's 35 or 36. Flyweight, bantamweight, man, it's a younger man's game. You have to be so technical and so quick. Horiguchi did look great against Amir Albazi. Amir Albazi don't got striking. He's only a good grappler. Horiguchi was bouncing around the cage all over the place, tapping him with shots, coming in. He uses the karate style, so similar to MVP, where they're just bouncing around and then they shoot. They just come in looking for these explosive shots. That's what Horiguchi does. And then he also has this thing where he plants his feet and starts throwing combinations with, a little bit more power. And that's what I think his downfall is going to be in this fight. Manel Kape is in his prime. I think it's Manel Kape's time. He's been calling for a title shot for so long now. And I honestly had Brandon Royval beating Kape when they fought recently. And Kape made easy work of him. He just showed. Now, Royval, there was something weird where he kind of stumbled, and I don't know if that was a broken toe or something, but I don't think it matters, man. He doesn't move around like Horiguchi, that's for sure, but Kape caught him and he knocked him out instantly. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in this fight. I think Horiguchi is going to bounce around for, the first round and then most of the second round, and he's going to be hitting Kape for sure. But Kape's going to be able to be explosive and counter-strike. I think this matchup's made for him. Manel's only gotten better. I mean, it was 2017. It's been almost 10 years. Horiguchi's been great. He's beating a lot of these guys at flyweight. He's a good addition. He also hasn't fought the greatest competition outside of Albazi. He beat Ulanbekov. It's not that impressive. And I think this is a major step up after he came to the UFC, to be honest. I know he faced Kape. I know that's crazy to say. But Manel's a different fighter. And with his counter-strike ability, how quick he is, how explosive he is, I think he wanted Horiguchi to face him in this rematch because he knows he can catch him now. Horiguchi also, he's a good striker. He's all over the place. He does try to mix in some takedowns here and there, or at least push you to the cage so you can think about that. He gets wild at times, and when he's throwing combinations, he's throwing looping hooks, and his head is to the side so far. His head is exposed, and Albazi even caught him a couple times in that fight. There was once where Horiguchi fell down because of it. If that's happening with Amir Albazi, Manel Kape's going to find the KO. And especially when your head is that exposed and you're not covering up, man. Horiguchi gets wild, like I said. He starts throwing a lot of knees. He starts trying to do spinning heel kicks, and his cardio holds up. But you're not going to be able to do that against Kape. I think Kape's going to be constantly moving forward, and I just don't see it, man. From Horiguchi, this is kind of his only chance, right? I mean, I'm sure he can fight, people lower in the rankings, but he's old. And like I said, flyweight is a younger man's game. And even though Manel Kape is only a couple years younger, he's in his prime. And what he just did to Royval, it's only going to give him more confidence. I truly think Manel Kape thinks that he can get this done, and quite easily. The way I saw Horiguchi taking shots in that Albazi fight, I'm just picturing Kape knocking him out clean. So I think it's going to be a highlight reel KO. And it's going to be when Horiguchi plants. He's going to eventually plant when he's just off the cage. He's going to be moving on his back foot. He's going to be moving all over the place. Kape's going to be the one pressuring. And Horiguchi's going to set, plant, and he's going to have his head exposed. And Kape's going to find it instantly. So late round 2 KO from Manel Kape. I'm pretty confident. My locks for this card are Bia Mesquita, Vinicius Oliveira, and Manel Kape. I'm very confident in those three, especially Manel Kape. I mean, Bia Mesquita, I think, is like a -600 favorite, so she should absolutely win. But Oliveira is a little bit trickier of a fight to call, and so is this Manel Kape. They have it at 50-50. I think that's crazy. I don't bet, but if you guys want to, the slight favorite of Manel Kape, especially by finish, double chance it. I mean, most likely going to be a KO. I can't see Manel Kape submitting him, but Manel Kape by KO might give you a little bit of some money. So that's what I would do. Kape late round KO, late round 2 KO, and I'm looking forward to the fight, man. That's a pretty good fight. The rest of the card's okay, a lot of featherweights, but I think it's going to be a good card. It just sucks that we had the White House card last week. We had 14 superstars on that card for the most part, and maybe 12, 13, whatever. But best venue ever for a fight card, and now we're back in the Apex. The other thing I want to mention here with a couple of these fighters, especially Horiguchi, even though he did well against Shahbazyan in the smaller cage, I think that's only going to help Manel Kape. So, same thing with Christian Rodriguez. I think he's going to be able to grapple a little bit more because of the small cage. And I think that was the only other one I was thinking of. Oh, same thing with Shane Collins in that first fight. I think it's that being in a smaller cage. It's like a 5 feet radius, shorter or smaller than the UFC regular cages. So I think it's going to benefit those fighters a lot. But yeah, let me know who you got winning tonight or winning in this fight card tomorrow night. And like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all later. Hopefully it's a good card.